The city of Altharion floated above the sapphire blue ocean, a marvel of alien engineering. Towers spiraled upward, shimmering with colors that seemed impossible under normal light. Bridges made of crystal threads connected floating platforms where citizens walked gracefully, their elongated limbs and luminous skin catching the glint of the sun. The air hummed with energy, machines that moved without sound and the soft whispers of the ocean below. At the heart of the city was the Royal Hall, a vast structure of polished silver and light. Here the rulers of the alien empire received visitors, declared new laws, and demonstrated their unmatched power. Today the hall would witness a new arrival, a human. The Princess Solara strode into the hall. Her presence was commanding. She was taller than most of her species, with eyes that glowed faintly green in the dim light. Her hair floated slightly as if touched by the city's energy currents. A soft laugh followed her movements like chimes echoing in a quiet room. She loved attention, and she loved being admired even more. The court had gathered, standing in rows along the walls. They were all in their finest attire, glittering uniforms and ceremonial robes. Some whispered in anticipation. The arrival of a human ambassador from Earth was unusual. Most humans were considered weak and unremarkable. None had ever impressed the royal family. A hush fell as the human soldier stepped into the hall. His armor was plain, metallic gray with minor markings, functional rather than ornamental. Unlike the alien envoys who shimmered with colors and seemed to float above the floor, he walked firmly, his boots making soft but firm sounds against the polished metal. His hair was brown, slightly messy, and his eyes were steady, calm, and oddly intense. Solara's smile curved into something sharper. She loved games, especially when someone seemed weak and easy to mock. Today's game was clear. Humiliate the human for the amusement of her court. "Ah," she said, her voice musical but edged with mockery. "So this is the human ambassador. The one they boast about?" She tilted her head, looking him up and down. "How small, how ordinary." Some in the court giggled, others nodded, agreeing silently with their princess. The human's expression did not change. He kept his posture straight, hands calmly at his sides. Solara's eyes narrowed slightly, noticing something unusual. A flicker in his gaze, subtle and strange, almost like a spark beneath calm water. She frowned. "Do you understand why you are here?" she asked, her tone sharp but playful. "You come to our world among creatures far stronger, far wiser. And you dare to appear confident?" The human soldier nodded once, slowly, deliberately. "I am here to represent my people, Princess Solara. That is all." His voice was low, steady, and carried a quiet weight that made the hall listen. Solara laughed, a soft, lilting sound that made the walls of the hall shimmer slightly. "Brave words for someone who could be crushed by a single thought from my guards," she said, stepping closer. The floor seemed to hum beneath her feet. "Do you think your tiny human mind can handle what is to come?" The soldier did not flinch. Instead, he glanced around the hall, observing everything. The intricate carvings, the subtle energy currents, the floating devices hovering silently in the air. There was intelligence in his gaze. Calm intelligence. Solara's amusement deepened. This was too easy. "Very well," she said, lifting her hand. "If you can survive one day in my tests, then perhaps your species is worth noticing. But I suspect it will not last 1 hour." At that she signaled the guards. They moved with fluid precision, forming a circle around the human. The test was simple: agility, strategy, strength. They expected him to fail spectacularly. The princess leaned back, arms crossed, smiling with cruel curiosity. The human soldier did not speak. He only observed. His eyes, steady and dark at first, glimmered faintly, almost imperceptible, like a light hidden in shadow. Solara noticed it again, her heart skipping a beat. How could a human have such composure? Such calm? The first test was the zero-gravity agility chamber. Guards armed with energy staffs moved at high speed, weaving between floating platforms. They expected the human to stumble, fall, or panic. The human soldier did none of these. Step by step he moved with precision, his body twisted and adapted using momentum and clever balance. When a guard lunged at him, he ducked under the staff and rolled across the platform, landing neatly on his feet. Solara's laughter faltered. The court murmured. "No human had ever moved like that. You are faster than I expected," she said, trying to regain her tone of mockery. Yet even she felt a flicker of unease. The second test was strategy and puzzles. Devices floated in mid-air, forming complex interlocking patterns. The human's task was to untangle them under time pressure. Other envoys had failed quickly, frustrated by the alien technology. The human soldier approached it calmly, hands steady. His eyes glimmered slightly again, this time brighter. Step by step, he analyzed the puzzle, using logic and intuition. He moved the pieces with precision. In moments, the puzzle was solved. Solara stared. Her usual mockery faltered into silence. She had expected clumsiness. She had expected chaos. Instead, she saw brilliance. The final test was combat simulation against her elite guards. Energy blades hummed as the guards lunged. The human soldier did not panic. He dodged, parried, and countered with a combination of clever feints and quick strikes. He did not match the guards' raw strength, but his speed, timing, and clever thinking allowed him to neutralize each one without harm. The court gasped. Whispers spread like wildfire. How could a human perform like this? The princess, once confident in her mockery, felt something unfamiliar. Curiosity and perhaps respect. Solara stepped forward, face flushed slightly with excitement. Your eyes, she said softly, almost to herself. They shine when you do this. What is this? The human soldier's gaze met hers, calm, steady. It is at my nature, he said simply. Humans have abilities you may not understand at first glance. We endure, we adapt. We survive. A silence fell over the hall. The princess could not hide her astonishment. For the first time, she wondered, could she have underestimated humanity? Solara's lips curved into a smile, less mocking, more thoughtful. Interesting, she said. Very interesting. Perhaps this is only the beginning. The human soldier bowed slightly, acknowledging her, and the faint glow in his eyes lingered, subtle but undeniable. It was a signal of something hidden, something she could not yet name. The princess turned away, deep in thought. She had mocked, laughed, and expected weakness. Instead, she had encountered calm, cleverness, and a strange, glowing power. She did not realize that the more she mocked him, the more his hidden strength began to reveal itself. A silent tension formed between them, a quiet battle of wits, courage, and hidden potential. One that neither of them fully understood yet. As the court began to disperse, whispering about the human soldier, Solara lingered. She watched him with a mixture of curiosity and fascination. Perhaps there was more to humanity than she had been taught. Perhaps one human could show the galaxy a courage it had never seen before. The sun reflected off the floating towers of Altharion, casting long shadows across the hall. The princess's laughter was gone, replaced by a sharp, calculating smile. The human soldier remained calm, his eyes glimmering faintly like a light waiting to shine brighter. And somewhere deep inside, Solara felt the stirrings of a challenge she had never imagined. A challenge not of brute force, not of wealth or technology, but of courage, cleverness, and an unyielding human spirit. The day had only begun. The next morning, the sky above Altharion glowed with soft gold and pink hues reflecting on the crystalline towers and the endless ocean beneath. In the royal hall, the city's energy seemed to pulse with anticipation. Word had already spread through the court about the human soldier. The whispers were everywhere. He moves with precision. He thinks faster than our minds can follow. And his eyes? Princess Solara stood at the center of the hall, her expression unreadable. She was no longer laughing, no longer mocking openly. Curiosity had replaced amusement. She had spent the night considering the human soldier. How could someone so small, so unremarkable in appearance, show such strength, intelligence, and calmness? I must know more, she whispered to herself. If he is as clever as he seems, I need to see how far he can go. By mid-morning, she had gathered her court. Guards, advisors, and scholars filled the hall, all eager to see the continuation of the human experiment. The human soldier, standing quietly at the entrance, looked around the hall once more. His calmness unnerved some of the onlookers. Solara clapped her hands and the crowd quieted. Today, she announced, her voice carrying over the hall like soft thunder, you will face challenges that test your mind, your skill, and your courage. Show us that your species is more than fragile. Show me that you can survive where others fail. The human soldier nodded slightly. I will do my best, he replied simply. The first challenge was a test of intellect. set in a room where floating holographic puzzles spun in the air. Each puzzle contained hundreds of moving pieces that rearranged themselves at random. Past ambassadors had failed almost immediately, overwhelmed by the complexity. Solara's green eyes watched as the human approached. He studied the puzzle silently, hands moving slowly, deliberately. His eyes glimmered faintly again, a soft amber glow beneath his steady gaze. The court noticed, but no one dared comment. Time passed. Most observers expected him to fail. Then slowly, the pieces began to click into place. Step by step, the complex shapes formed perfect alignments. The final piece slid into position and the puzzle completed itself with a soft hum of light. Gasps echoed through the hall. The princess's lips parted slightly in surprise. She had expected confusion, frustration, maybe panic, but not this. Interesting, she murmured. Next came a physical challenge. Solara led him to a chamber where platforms floated high above a pit of shimmering energy currents. The human's task was to cross without falling. Guards would attempt to knock him off with energy batons, testing reflexes and agility. The princess moved to the side, observing carefully. "Watch closely," she said to her advisors. "He will fail." The human soldier stepped onto the first platform. His movements were precise, measured, almost calm. He dodged the guards' attacks with a combination of speed and intuition, using the motion of the platforms to his advantage. Solara frowned slightly. "This is clever," she whispered. Her eyes followed every motion. The amber glow in his eyes flickered again, brighter this time as if responding to the tension of the challenge. One guard lunged at him from above, energy baton extended. The human twisted in midair, landing safely on the next platform, and used his momentum to spin and counter the guard without harm. The court could hardly believe what they were witnessing. "You are faster than expected," Solara said aloud, trying to mask her surprise with mockery. "A human surviving where others fail? Remarkable." But even as she spoke, she realized she could not hide her growing interest. Each time he succeeded, his calm eyes shone faintly, almost like a signal of hidden energy. The final test of the day was combat against the princess herself. Solara had never fought anyone she did not fully control. Her abilities were unmatched among her people, and she had never faced anyone capable of thinking as quickly or adapting as fast as the human seemed to. She activated the simulation chamber. Energy walls rose and the floor beneath them glimmered with a faint blue light. She drew her energy blade and it hummed like a living thing. "Let us see if you survive this," she said, her voice sharp and confident. The human soldier did not draw a weapon. He simply assumed a defensive stance, eyes glowing faintly amber. The first strike came fast. Solara lunged forward with a burst of speed. He dodged, moving with precise timing. Every strike from the princess was met with clever parries and feints. The court watched in stunned silence. They had expected her to overpower him easily. Instead, the human adapted to every move, anticipating patterns and using his environment with surprising creativity. Solara's expression shifted from mockery to fascination. The more she tested him, the more she realized that strength was not always physical. Intelligence, courage, and adaptability could be just as deadly. "You are more clever than I thought," she said, pausing briefly. The glow in his eyes intensified as if acknowledging her words. "Perhaps your species is not as weak as we believed." The human soldier did not boast. He simply nodded. "We humans are underestimated often," he said. "But we survive, we adapt, we endure." A silence fell over the chamber. Solara studied him, noting how calm he remained even under her direct attack. She had mocked, she had laughed, yet she could not deny the strength and precision she now witnessed. "Very well," she said softly, lowering her blade. "You have passed my test for today. But tomorrow will be more challenging. And I am curious to see if you can endure what is to come." As the court dispersed, whispers filled the air. The human had done the impossible. He had survived tests no other being could. The princess, usually untouchable in her authority, felt something new, a twinge of respect and perhaps caution. Later that evening, Solara returned to her private chamber. She gazed out over the glowing city, thinking of the human soldier. His calm demeanor, cleverness, and the subtle glow in his eyes haunted her thoughts. She realized that mocking him had revealed something unexpected, something she could not yet define. "He is different," she murmured. "Not weak, not fragile, strong. in ways I did not expect. Meanwhile, the human soldier stood quietly in his quarters. He was not proud. He had only done what humans did best, adapted and survived. Yet even he felt a quiet anticipation. Tomorrow the challenges would be harder. The princess would test him further. But he was ready. Deep inside, both felt it. The beginning of a game, a battle not of hatred or violence, but of wits, courage, and hidden strength. The more Solara had mocked him, the stranger and more powerful his presence had become. And the faint glow in his eyes, that was only the beginning. Outside, the city of Altharion shimmered under the twin moons rising over the ocean. Somewhere in the distance, the first stars began to twinkle. In the heart of the city, in the royal hall, a quiet tension lingered. A tension between the princess, proud and fearless, and the human soldier, calm and unassuming. Neither knew how far this would go, or what the future held. But both knew this. The game had only begun, and human courage, cleverness, and hidden strength were forces the galaxy had underestimated. The glow in the human's eyes pulsed softly in the dim light, a silent reminder that appearances could be deceiving. The princess, once mocking and confident, now felt a spark of something unfamiliar. Curiosity, admiration, and perhaps respect. The day ended with unspoken promises. Challenges awaited, secrets would be revealed, and the quiet glow of human potential would continue to unfold in ways no one could predict. The game was far from over. The royal hall of Altharion was quieter than usual that morning. News of the human soldier's success in the previous day's tests had spread across the court like wildfire. Even the lowest-ranking guards whispered about him in hushed tones, eyes wide with disbelief. Humans were thought to be weak, fragile, and unremarkable, but this one had defied every expectation. Princess Solara paced the balcony of the hall, her green eyes sharp, calculating, and restless. She had always been confident, always in control, but the human soldier had begun to challenge her perceptions. She had mocked him, expected him to falter, yet he had remained calm, clever, and remarkably skilled. And most unnerving of all, his eyes had begun to glow subtly, flickers of amber appearing during moments of intense focus. She turned abruptly, her expression shifting into a mixture of curiosity and irritation. "I will see just how far he can go," she muttered to herself. "If he survives this, perhaps he is worth more than I thought." The human soldier entered the hall quietly. He did not announce himself, did not seek attention. His calm presence seemed to contrast sharply with the murmuring court. But as his eyes met Solara's, a subtle glow began to pulse, brighter than the day before, almost imperceptible at first, but undeniable. Solara's lips curved into a sharp, challenging smile. "Today's tests will be different," she announced, her voice carrying across the hall. "No simple puzzles, no training rooms. Today you will face a challenge that could destroy even the most skilled among my people." The human soldier bowed slightly, his posture steady. "I understand, Princess. I will do my best." Solara waved her hand and the energy walls of the chamber shifted. The floor transformed into a vast arena, glowing panels tracing intricate patterns across the surface. Platforms rose and fell, floating in midair, connected by invisible currents of energy. "Your task," she said, her voice echoing, "is to survive this arena. You will face not only my guards, but also the challenges I set. Fail, and you will be humiliated. Succeed, and perhaps I will reconsider what humans are truly capable of." The human soldier stepped forward, eyes calm, but the glow within them began to intensify. It was no longer a flicker. The amber light pulsed rhythmically, almost like a heartbeat. The court gasped as they noticed it, and even Solara's advisors exchanged anxious glances. The first wave of guards moved in, energy weapons drawn. They lunged and struck with precise, practiced motions designed to overwhelm. But the human soldier moved with unmatched focus. Each dodge, each step, each deflection was deliberate. He did not rely on brute strength, but on timing, anticipation, and clever improvisation. Solara watched closely, her lips pressed into a thin line. She had expected chaos, mistakes, perhaps fear, but he was calm, and his eyes, they glowed brighter with each successful move, like the arena itself recognized his resilience. A guard struck from above, energy blades flashing. The human soldier rolled beneath the attack and used the guard's momentum to propel himself onto a floating platform, landing softly. The glow in his eyes brightened again, startling even the most experienced guards. "Impossible," muttered one of the advisors, shaking their head. "A human? Moving like that?" Solara's gaze narrowed. She had mocked him, laughed at his simplicity, and yet here he was, unshaken, unafraid, outperforming even her elite guards. The second challenge emerged without warning. Panels on the arena floor shifted, forming complex energy patterns. Bright beams of light moved rapidly, forming barriers and obstacles. Guards lunged through these patterns, weapons swinging as if testing both agility and intelligence simultaneously. The human soldier paused for only a moment, analyzing the patterns. His eyes glowed brightly, the amber light now more visible than ever. Then, with precision, he began to navigate the shifting floor, anticipating movements using the energy currents to his advantage. He dodged attacks, countered guards, and reached points that even some of Solara's soldiers could not. Solara's heart pounded, not with fear, but with exhilaration. The human was proving something no alien had expected. Courage, cleverness, and adaptability could surpass raw power. She stepped closer, her voice cutting through the hum of the arena. "Your eyes. What is this?" she demanded. "Why do they glow?" The human soldier paused just for a moment and met her gaze. "It is a human response," he said simply. "Our bodies sometimes manifest our focus and resolve in ways others do not expect." Solara stared at him, her mind racing. Humans were fragile, or so she had believed, and yet this human, this one individual, was revealing something remarkable, something she had never considered. Before she could speak further, the final wave of the challenge arrived. From hidden platforms, the guards surged, this time with energy blasts combined with rapid physical attacks. The arena shifted into chaos, the floor and floating panels twisting and rotating unpredictably. The human soldier moved with unparalleled calm. His amber eyes glowed like twin beacons, casting faint light across his determined face. He dodged, rolled, jumped, and struck with precision, adapting to every movement, every attack, every unexpected shift of the arena. One guard attacked from the side, energy blade swinging downward. The human did not simply dodge. He caught the edge of the platform, spun in midair, and redirected the guard's own momentum to send him safely off balance, landing gracefully on another platform. The court erupted in whispers. Solara's voice rang out sharper now as she activated the final part of the challenge. Energy pillars shot up from the arena floor, creating barriers and traps. The glowing patterns now formed a maze of deadly light. Most beings would panic, lose focus, and fail. The human soldier paused only briefly, assessing the new obstacles. Then, with a combination of intuition, agility, and quick thinking, he moved. Each step was deliberate, each jump precise. He avoided the energy pillars, countered the attacks of the remaining guards, and reached the center of the arena. The glow in his eyes now blazed like sunlight. The court gasped. No human or alien had ever displayed such control, such calm, such hidden power. Solara's lips parted, her voice barely a whisper. You are extraordinary." The human soldier did not boast. He simply stood, breathing steadily, amber light fading slowly from his eyes. "I only do what humans do best," he said. "We endure, we adapt, we survive." Solara took a step forward, studying him with an intensity she had never shown before. "You have proven something I did not believe possible," she said softly. "The more I mocked you, the stranger, more powerful you became." A silence fell over the hall. The guards lowered their weapons. Advisors stared in awe, and whispers spread throughout the court. Even Solara felt something unfamiliar. Respect, curiosity, and the beginnings of admiration. She moved closer to him, her steps measured. "Tell me," she said quietly, "how far does your strength go? How much can humans endure?" The human soldier's amber eyes flickered faintly, almost as if acknowledging the question without answering. "Strength," he said finally, "is not just power. It is courage, resolve, and the will to act when others hesitate." Solara's mind raced. She had mocked humans, underestimated them, believed them fragile. And yet, this one individual had shown her a truth she could not ignore. Human potential was far greater than appearances suggested. For the first time, Solara felt a twinge of humility. She had assumed control, assumed superiority, but the human soldier had challenged her assumptions effortlessly. And the glow in his eyes, strange, mysterious, powerful, was proof of something deeper. The day ended with the arena silent. The human soldier stood at its center, calm, composed, and quietly glowing. Solara lingered, watching him with thoughts she could not yet articulate. The mockery of the first day had given way to fascination. The challenges had revealed hidden strength, intelligence, and courage she had never seen before. And somewhere in the heart of the hall, a realization took root. Humans were not weak. Humans were not simple. Humans, when pushed, could rise beyond expectations, beyond limits. Solara turned away from the arena, her mind racing. The glow in the human's eyes had become more than a curiosity. It was a symbol of what humans could achieve when underestimated, challenged, and tested. The human soldier walked quietly from the arena, his expression calm, his eyes fading from the intense glow of the test. He had survived, adapted, and impressed. And he had done it not with arrogance, but with courage, patience, and cleverness. Solara watched him leave, a quiet determination forming in her mind. Tomorrow the challenges would be greater, and she, once mocking, once confident, now curious and cautious, would see just how far this human could go. The court dispersed, but the memory of the glowing eyes lingered. Whispers continued, but now there was a new word among them: respect. The human soldier had changed the way Altherians saw humanity, and Princess Solara knew this was only the beginning. The glow had emerged, and with it a challenge the galaxy would not soon forget. The twin suns of Altherian began to set, casting golden and violet light across the floating city. The air shimmered, carrying the soft hum of energy currents flowing through the towers and bridges. Inside the royal hall, Princess Solara moved through the corridors, her thoughts consumed by the human soldier. He had faced her challenges, survived her tests, and, most astonishingly, revealed a strength she had never imagined. His eyes, those glowing amber eyes, had become a symbol of something the aliens rarely considered: resilience, courage, and cleverness that could surpass sheer power. Solara stopped in front of a high window overlooking the ocean, her reflection framed by the fading light. "I cannot ignore this," she murmured. "He has proven something about his people, something I never expected." Her advisors approached cautiously, hesitant to interrupt her thoughts. "Princess," one said quietly, he is remarkable. Never in history has one of your challenges been survived with such skill. Even your guards." "Yes," Solara said softly, cutting him off. "I see it. But it is not just skill. It is courage, cleverness, and something else, a hidden power we do not understand." Meanwhile, the human soldier rested quietly in his quarters. He did not boast, nor did he celebrate. Humans did not always need recognition. Their strength often came from humility, patience, and quiet determination. Yet even he could feel the awareness in the air. The court, the guards, and now the princess herself had all begun to see that humans could exceed expectations. That night, a message arrived via the city's energy network. A rival empire had dispatched an elite assassin, targeting the royal hall and Princess Solara. The message was precise: "Your arrogance will be punished. A human may fail, but we will not." The hall buzzed with activity. Guards moved swiftly, energy shields raised, and the princess's advisors conferred urgently. But Solara's thoughts were on one person, the human soldier. She summoned him immediately. When he entered, calm and composed as always, she did not speak immediately. She studied him, noting the faint amber glow in his eyes, a reminder of his resilience. "You have done well in my tests," she said finally. "But now, we face a real threat, a dangerous one." The human soldier nodded. "I am ready." Solara led him to a command chamber where holographic projections displayed the assassin's approach. A sleek, shadowy ship moved through the atmosphere, cloaked almost entirely, but its presence was undeniable. "This assassin is deadly," she explained. "Highly trained and armed with devices that could overwhelm even the strongest of my people." The human soldier studied the projections carefully. His eyes flickered faintly with the amber glow, as if analyzing, calculating, and predicting. "We can stop this," he said simply. "We must use strategy, timing, and courage." Solara raised an eyebrow. "And what is your plan, human? Speak quickly. The threat is imminent." He moved closer to the holograms, pointing at key locations. "We will divide the guards into teams to secure entrances. I will engage the assassin directly, but not alone. We must coordinate. Use your elite fighters to create diversions. Predict their moves and act faster than they expect. Solara's green eyes softened, tinged with respect. This was not arrogance. This was intelligence, calm thinking, and bravery, qualities her own people often overlooked. Very well, she said. Lead us then, human. Show us what humans can do. The preparation was swift. Guards took positions, energy barriers were activated, and the princess herself armed with her energy blade, ready to defend her people. The human soldier moved among them, giving precise instructions, guiding movements, and ensuring every detail was accounted for. When the assassin arrived, the confrontation began. The shadowy figure moved with impossible speed, slipping past energy shields and striking with lethal precision, yet the human soldier remained calm, glowing amber eyes analyzing every motion. He anticipated attacks, countered quickly, and redirected the energy strikes using clever strategies rather than brute force. Solara fought alongside him, energy blade flashing, movements elegant and deadly. She was aware of the human's actions, coordinating silently with him. Every strike she made was complemented by his quick thinking. Guards who had doubted the human before now followed his guidance without hesitation. The assassin paused for a moment, surprised by the coordinated defense. "How is this possible?" one muttered. Even the princess herself cannot move so effectively with another guiding her. The human soldier moved with calm confidence, positioning himself strategically. His eyes glowed brighter as the tension increased. He did not attack recklessly. Instead, he used his environment, the movement of guards, and the shifting energy fields to corner the assassin. Solara, noticing his focus and bravery, felt an unusual warmth in her chest, a mixture of admiration and trust. The human had proven himself not only in tests but now in a real, dangerous battle. Finally, in a coordinated effort, the human and Solara trapped the assassin between two energy walls. The human moved swiftly, disarming the assassin with precise timing, and Solara immobilized the attacker using a combination of energy strikes and skillful maneuvers. The hall fell silent. The assassin was neutralized without harm to the princess or the guards. Everyone looked at the human soldier, awe and disbelief written across their faces. Even Solara, usually composed, could not hide the admiration in her gaze. "You saved us all," she said softly, stepping forward. "Not with raw power alone, but with courage, intelligence, and strategy. You have proven something extraordinary." The human soldier bowed slightly. "I only did what was necessary," he said calmly. "Humans endure, adapt, and survive. That is what I did." Solara's eyes lingered on him, noting the glow in his eyes. Fading now, but still faintly visible, a reminder of the strength he had displayed. "You have changed my perception," she admitted quietly. "I mocked you, expected weakness, and yet you have shown me courage and skill beyond what I imagined." The human soldier met her gaze steadily. "Sometimes appearances are deceiving. True strength is not always visible at first glance." Solara nodded slowly, the weight of realization settling on her. Humans were more than fragile beings. One individual could display bravery, intelligence, and hidden power that could rival even the most elite warriors of Altharion. For the first time, Solara felt something she had never allowed herself. Respect for a human. The mockery, the laughter, the challenge, they had all been replaced by admiration. And in that moment she realized that the human soldier's glow, the strange, mysterious light in his eyes, was not just a physical trait. It was a symbol of what humans could achieve when underestimated. The court began to disperse, whispers of awe and respect filling the hall. Guards who had once doubted the human now looked at him with reverence. Advisors exchanged quiet words, acknowledging that perhaps humans were more capable than history had recorded. Solara lingered, walking alongside the human soldier. "Tell me," she said softly, "how far can your people go? How much can humans endure?" The human soldier's eyes flickered faintly, amber light pulsing once. "We endure," he said simply. "We adapt. We survive. And when tested, we rise to meet challenges others believe impossible." Solara nodded, understanding dawning. This was not just a battle. This was a revelation. Not just of one human's ability, but of the potential of an entire species. And she, the proud and often mocking princess, had witnessed it firsthand. That evening, As the sun set completely and the city glowed beneath twin moons, Solara reflected on the events of the day. The human soldier had faced danger, protected her people, and demonstrated courage and intelligence in a way no one had expected. His eyes, faintly glowing even in dim light, reminded her that humans carried something rare and extraordinary within them. For the first time, Solara saw humans not as weak or fragile, but as resilient, clever, and full of hidden potential. She realized that mockery could give way to respect, laughter could become admiration, and assumptions about strength could be completely overturned. And somewhere deep within her, a thought lingered. The human soldier, calm, clever, and courageous, might be the key to understanding not only the strength of his people, but the future of alliances, challenges, and battles across the galaxy. The glow had revealed itself. The danger had passed, but the bond formed through shared struggle. The respect between the princess and the human soldier was only beginning to grow. And with it, a new understanding emerged. True strength was not always visible. It could be quiet, clever, courageous, and glowing from within. The day ended not with victory for one side, but with revelation, respect, and a promise that the future held challenges neither the princess nor the human soldier would face alone. The next day, Altherian City floated silently above the deep blue ocean, its towers shimmering under the morning light. The royal hall, where the human soldier had already proven himself, was quieter than usual. Rumors from the previous day's confrontation with the assassin had spread through the city like wildfire. Whispers spoke of courage, cleverness, and a strange glowing power that had appeared in his eyes. Princess Solara stood on the balcony, watching the horizon, her green eyes thoughtful and alert. The events of the past days had changed her perception. Once she had laughed at the human, mocked his appearance, and assumed weakness. Now she found herself pondering his abilities and the possibilities they represented. He is remarkable, she whispered to herself. Not just a human soldier. He is something far more than I imagined. Below, the human soldier approached the hall quietly, as he always did. Calm and composed, he moved with a steady pace, his eyes flickering faintly amber in the morning sunlight. Even after all the tests, after all the challenges, he remained humble. He did not boast. He did not demand recognition. Yet the court, the guards, and the princess herself could not help but notice his presence. Solara descended the stairs, her steps purposeful. She met him in the central hall, where the sun's rays danced across polished surfaces, reflecting off the energy panels embedded in the floor. The air carried a quiet tension, anticipation of something new and important. "You have done well," she said softly, her voice carrying over the hall, "not just in tests, not just against the assassin, but in how you have shown the strength of your people. You have proven something extraordinary." The human soldier bowed slightly. "I only did what humans do best," he said quietly. "We endure, we adapt, we survive. That is all." Solara studied him closely. The glow in his eyes, now subtle, still hinted at the hidden potential within him. She had seen courage, cleverness, and strength displayed not for pride, but for protection, for duty, and for the greater good. The more she had mocked him, the more she had realized how remarkable humans could be. "You have changed my perception," she admitted. "I once believed your kind weak, fragile, and unworthy of serious attention. Yet you have shown me courage and intelligence far beyond what I expected." The human soldier inclined his head humbly. "Humans are often underestimated," he said. "But when challenged, we rise to meet it. That is how we survive. That is how we endure." Solara nodded. She had mocked him, laughed at him, and expected failure. And yet now she found herself respecting him deeply, feeling something she had never felt before, a mixture of admiration, curiosity, and quiet acknowledgement of his unique abilities. The court gathered around them, observing silently. Guards whispered to one another, scholars murmured, and advisors exchanged glances. Even they could see what Solara now acknowledged openly. Humans were not weak. Humans, when tested, could demonstrate courage, cleverness, and hidden strength that no one anticipated. Solara turned to the human soldier. "Come," she said. "Walk with me. I want to understand more, not just about you, but about your people." He followed silently, matching her pace. The palace corridors were quiet, the soft hum of energy flowing through the city filling the space around them. Solara spoke first. "I mocked you, soldier," she said, her voice steady. "I laughed at your appearance, your armor, your size. I thought you were fragile and weak, and yet the more I mocked, the stronger. The more remarkable you became. I do not fully understand it, but I want to. The human soldier nodded. Sometimes strength grows when others doubt us, he said. When we are underestimated, we find ways to rise beyond expectations. Humans endure and adapt because we must, because our survival depends on it. And sometimes, that endurance becomes something extraordinary. Solara considered his words carefully. She had always been confident in her superiority, her strength, her intelligence. She had believed that no being could challenge her or the alien empire. And yet, here was a human who had done just that. Not with arrogance, but with courage, strategy, and calm determination. Then perhaps, she said slowly, we have all underestimated your species. Perhaps the galaxy has not seen what humans can truly do. The human soldier's eyes glimmered faintly, amber light reflecting subtly in the sun's rays. Perhaps, he said. But humans do not seek recognition. We only do what is necessary. What matters is not power but purpose. Not glory but survival and protection of those we care about. Solara smiled, a genuine warmth in her expression. You have shown me something important, she said. That true strength is not always visible. That courage, intelligence, and perseverance can surpass brute force or advanced technology. That the heart and mind can be just as powerful as energy weapons and armor. They walked together through the hall, past the energy fields and floating platforms that had once been part of her challenges. Solara felt a quiet shift within herself. She had mocked humans, yes, but now she respected them. And in particular, this one human soldier had earned her admiration. The sun dipped lower and the first stars appeared in the sky above Altharion. Solara paused at a balcony overlooking the ocean, motioning for the human to join her. The view was breathtaking, the floating city reflecting the golden and violet light, waves sparkling far below, and the horizon stretching endlessly. You have changed more than my perception of humans, she said quietly. You have changed mine of myself. I mocked, I assumed superiority, and I was wrong. The human soldier looked out over the ocean, calm and composed. It is not weakness to admit when one is wrong, he said. It is strength. Learning, adapting, and understanding. That is what allows us to grow. Solara's eyes met his, her gaze steady. For the first time, she saw not a stranger or an outsider, but a true equal in courage, skill, and intellect. The glow in his eyes, faint but steady, reflected a hidden potential she now fully recognized. The court and guards, observing from below, whispered among themselves. Never had a human been so respected, so admired, or so clearly capable of earning the trust of an alien princess. The story of this human soldier, his glowing eyes, and his courage would be told for generations. Solara turned to him with a soft but firm expression. You have proven one truth, she said. Humans are not to be underestimated. Their courage, intelligence, and hidden strength are extraordinary, and I have learned that mocking others may reveal their power, but it can also teach me humility. The human soldier inclined his head once more. Then perhaps we have both learned something today, he said. Strength is not always visible. Courage is not always obvious, and respect once earned can change even the proudest hearts. Solara smiled. Indeed, she said. You have earned my respect, and not just for surviving the tests or the battle with the assassin. You have earned it for your courage, your wisdom, and your integrity. That is rare in any species. The two of them stood quietly, watching the stars emerge over the ocean. The palace shimmered behind them, quiet and majestic. And somewhere in the glow of his eyes and the quiet strength of his presence, Solara understood something important. The human soldier represented the best of his people. He had endured, adapted, survived, and now stood as proof that humanity, underestimated and overlooked, could rise to face any challenge. The princess finally spoke again, her voice softer now, thoughtful and sincere. Tomorrow the court will speak of you. The city will speak of you. And the galaxy may soon speak of your people. But I will speak first. Humans are remarkable, and you, soldier, are extraordinary. The human soldier bowed slightly, as was customary in respect. I only did what was necessary, he said. Humans endure and adapt. That is all we can do. Solara's eyes softened. Then perhaps together we can achieve even more. If humans and Altharion work together, there is no challenge we cannot face. He looked at her, steady, calm, and quietly glowing. Then let us face it together, he said. For the first time in her life, Solara realized that the human soldier was not merely a visitor, a guest, or a curiosity. He was a partner, a comrade, and a symbol of humanity's potential. And in that realization, a quiet, powerful bond formed between them, built on courage, intelligence, respect, and the hidden strength that had begun to glow in his eyes. The stars reflected in the ocean below, and the floating city of Altharion shimmered with quiet energy. The court, the guards, and the citizens would remember this human soldier, not as weak or ordinary, but as a being who proved that courage, cleverness, and perseverance could surpass all expectations. And as Princess Solara stood beside him, she understood the truth fully. Appearances could deceive. Mockery could reveal hidden strength and humanity. Humanity was capable of greatness beyond imagination. The glow in his eyes, now calm but steady, was a reminder that the galaxy had underestimated humans, but never again. Together, they would face the future, strong, united, and with mutual respect. And thus, a new understanding was born, not just of one human, but of an entire species and of the quiet, glowing power that lay hidden within.